everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Slumber Party podcast. I'm here with one of my most favorite people on the planet, like to the extreme. And I'm so excited because, first I'm here with Marlie Cohen. Welcome, Marlie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. That's so nice. You're one of my favorite people too.
Well, I was just gonna say, I've watched your progression over, the last 3 years, and I feel like when we first had our first conversation way back when we were talking newborn sleep, which is still one of the most top downloaded episodes of this podcast. You're in such a different place. You're doing so many amazing things. And it's just, honestly, it's such a wild transformation. It just kind of hit me now. I'll explain. You're one of my favorite people because you broke my personal internet. Because when I worked with you with Lily, I was like, yeah, okay, let's work together. And then I will never forget it. The Monday I woke up, you had posted something on Instagram and you're like, Lily slept 12 hours. And literally it was like, I had to hire someone. I was like, oh my God. So I always say thank you. I'll always do whatever you want in terms of your things. And now you have 2 kiddos.
I do.
Amazing. And when did you have Sky? She's a year?
Sky is 1. So she was born March 2021.
Right.
I know. Time makes no sense now. Yeah.
It's still March 13th, 2020.
It's 2020.
In my brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And so what's really exciting and why I wanted to have you on is because I know that prior to kiddos, you were hardcore into fitness anyway. I know I haven't seen this photo in a while, but there is this photo of you living your best fucking life on a spin bike, and I want that photo of myself. You're just like, woo! Yeah. So what's your background in fitness?
Yeah.
Because now you've created a pretty incredible program, which I love, and I want you to talk all about.
Definitely. Well, thank you for that intro. You've always been so gracious, and you can take full credit for Lily sleeping and for your business. I mean, all I had to do was share, but really it's all you. She was not sleeping for 4 months, and then you came in and fixed that. And then you helped me again with Sky. So I get lots of nice sleep most nights. Not last night, but most nights, thanks to you and thanks to the principles of Baby's Best Sleep. But yeah, I guess a quick background would be that I created my Instagram account just as an outlet for my passion of health and fitness when I was working in the corporate world. Eventually left the corporate world to pursue fitness full time, which is that headshot on the spin bike. I was a spin instructor, a personal trainer, a health coach, and was living my best life on a spin bike for a few years, and then got pregnant with Lily, had to cut back a little bit on the amount of spinning, but was still training, teaching clients, all that good stuff. Had Lily, and then the pandemic hit, and I really transitioned my content on Instagram and on the blog to just, mommy at home content, because that's really what I was doing. I wasn't able to teach fitness classes. I wasn't able to personal train clients in person. We're in Canada, so we were locked down for a lot longer than most people. And yes. And from there, I got pregnant again in the pandemic, and I had Sky. And all this time, while I was at home, with my girls and creating content, I was still always, keeping with my own routine of health and fitness and always sharing that on my platforms. Right. And I always knew in the back of my head that I wanted to give back what I knew, take the knowledge I knew, all the training that I knew, and just really teach other moms how to apply it to their own life, because what I was doing was working really well for me, and I wanted to share what I knew. So that's sort of where we are today, and that's how Bounce Forward was born, which I guess we could talk about.
Yeah. And you know what's, so there are 2 things that we should, your Instagram handle, because you talked about creating it, is at kale _and_ crunches, but the kale and the K, or the crunches, are spelled with a K. So don't forget that part. And then I was actually like kind of chuckling to myself while you were telling your story, because I remember we were on the phone for some reason. We were chatting about like business stuff. And I was like, hey, do you think that you'll get pregnant in the pandemic? And you're like, yeah, probably. And then the next month you're like, I'm
Was I
pregnant.
pregnant then?
I
I
think
feel like I
you
would have
must
told you.
have been.
Yeah, maybe I
Yeah,
was.
it was. Well, yeah, I can't remember if you told it was, I asked the question, I think a month later, either I did the math and I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
was like totally a plan. And by the way, good for you. Yeah, and I think I'm sort of obsessed with. So I've done your workouts. I'm a
Hmm.
Bounce Forward member. I went to Florida,
Yay.
and I just jumped in. I wanted to do something, a little like I did a workout. And I was like, meh, and I was like, I just want to do something quick, and I didn't have.
Yeah.
You have a whole bunch of like weighted workouts, and I wanted to do those, but I was like, oh, I'm just going to do this like 10-minute burner. Can I tell you that I am
I
only
know.
just recovering from that? Like whatever muscle I got on the side
Your
here, I was
obliques.
like,
Your obliques. Yeah.
Jesus. No, it's like the side of my thigh. What's that?
Oh, you're
Like
touching your
in my,
thigh. Okay.
yeah, so it
Yeah.
was like right here.
Your
And it
glutes.
was
Yeah.
like so painful. And I think because we were doing is it kickstands or like not
Yeah.
kickstand, doggy things with your
A fire
anyway,
hydrant. Yeah.
fire hydrant. Thank you.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I haven't done a fire
Hmm.
hydrant in a long time. But it really it did burn me out. And I was like, okay, this is legit. Like proceed with
Yeah.
caution in a good way. Um,
Yes.
but so there's two things that I love about Bounce Forward is obviously it's aptly named and intentionally named because I think that
Hmm.
we're living in this culture of this like bounce back culture, right? Like,
Hmm.
oh, they bounced back from pregnancy. And
Hmm.
I would love for you to kind of talk about how
Yeah.
you named the program.
I'd love to talk about that. Yeah. So, for those that don't know, Bounce Forward is an online membership that offers group health coaching and workouts for moms. And like Amanda just said, our motto is screw the bounce back because what we really know about postpartum culture, unfortunately, is how fast a celebrity walked out of their hospital and fit into their jeans, their pre-baby jeans. So then when you come home with your new baby and new body and you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself and you're feeling like you're doing something wrong or you feel like you're doing something but feel like what you're doing is not working, it's not you, right? It's society,
Mm-hmm.
it's culture, it's diet culture, it's what we've been taught and what we've been, what's been embedded with us. So we want to break that stigma, bounce forward and say, screw the bounce back. We're going to
Yep.
teach you how to relearn and re-love your body and appreciate
Yep.
what your body's done for you using tools such as
Yep.
fitness, food, sleep, and mindset work so that you can
Yep.
take care of yourself in a realistic and sustainable way and so that you feel good for life because moms deserve to feel good too.
Yeah. I mean, who knew, right? And I feel like I'm probably like 5 or 6 years older than you. I don't really know. But even before I had kids, I remember like I don't know why this is seared into my brain, but I'm trying to remember what year this could have been. Probably 2012. But I hadn't even started to get into my Real Housewives obsession, which is very deep now. But I remember very distinctly a friend of mine having Us Weekly, which I loved. I love celebrity gossip. And there's a picture of Bethany Frankel from the Real Housewives of New York, and she had just had a baby. And I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks, and it was like bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like, I didn't even have kids. I didn't have any feelings. And I was just like, this feels like incorrect to me. It feels like
Mm-hmm.
we are. I mean, number one, Bethany Frankel is a naturally slim person. Like, that's just her body
Mm-hmm.
frame. Those are her genetics. And there are many people I know who have babies or who are pregnant and you don't really know until they like move to the side. And
Yeah.
to be like applaud their genetics, after is sort of weird. But also, I think it leaves out a whole bunch of women whose bodies completely change after
Yeah.
pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
Mine, like, My body changed in some interesting ways. Like my hips were always big, but they never really like kind of changed back after pregnancy. But I also think that like a lot of women, I think I can't remember where I read this, but it was like, we're not looking to get back into our pre-pregnancy jeans. We're looking to like buy jeans that fit our body and that make us look good. And I feel like
Exactly.
that's the kind of like fitness place that I want to be in
Hmm.
after I just had a baby.
Right. And let's even just go one step further and say, like, we're not working out because we want to look a certain way. We're working out because we want to get stronger because
Yeah.
these kids don't get lighter, right? These babies don't get any lighter. I mean, I have, a 1 year old and an almost 3 year old right now. I'm carrying both at the same time, right? Like
Yeah.
they are not getting
Yeah.
lighter. And
Yeah.
our bodies are not getting any more nimble and flexible as
Hmm.
we age, right? The
Hmm.
workouts in the platform and in general are just to teach us how to move functionally and well so that we can age in a healthy way, that we can keep up with our kids and keep up with our life and enjoy life. So it's really not
Yeah.
even, it's about, let's take it away from what we look like, because
Yeah.
pregnancy and postpartum just becomes this weird sort of place where it becomes like normalized to comment on women's bodies, when where else do we comment on women's bodies? Never. Right.
Hmm.
So
Or
we're like,
touch
let's take it
them
away
without
from, or
asking.
touch them. Yeah. Don't touch me. Don't. Right.
Please.
It's like, no, you can't rub my belly.
Yeah.
um, but right. So like, let's think of fitness and let's think of food as tools that we can use to really help us feel our best. And again, in a realistic and sustainable way, because as moms, when we're seeing people's 20-step morning routine, 10-step skincare routine, hour-long workouts in the gym, we don't have time for that, right? We just
No.
don't. So how do we then take care of ourselves on minimal time when there's a
Mhm.
million other things to do?
I think that, yeah, I'm totally, my brain has totally changed on the whole fitness front after having children. Like, fitness
Yeah.
always used to be in conjunction with some restrictive diet that I had. And then fitness always used to be about burning calories, losing weight, about it always had to be an hour plus. It could never just
Hmm.
be whatever. And I remember after I had Nora, I hired another fitness professional, and it was revolutionary. She was sort of like, you can just work out for a half an hour. And
Yep.
it took probably 6 months for me to get comfortable with the half an hour, because it never,
Hmm.
I was like, oh, is this enough? But I don't think I've ever been in better shape than at that time. And I just did 5 30-minute workouts. Like, that's pretty crazy. Um, there's that part. I think also as I'm aging, so I'm done having children. And as the idea of aging, I'm not interested in like pretending I'm not aging. I do think aging is a privilege, especially like
Hmm.
in these pandemic times when we're constantly discussing our own mortality. I think it's like, I just want to age without pain. I want to
Yep.
age um being able to move my body and to do all of the things that I do now
Hmm.
later. And I'm learning more and more how connected fitness is with that goal. I had a like aha moment over the holidays, just these past holidays, and like, I hate talking about COVID, but it is kind of related. So I had called a good friend of mine. Um, so actually, three friends of mine are on this like group chat. And it's like my friend, her husband, and her other friend. And they're like, hey, you have an Apple Watch. Do you want to join our challenge where we just close our loops? That's it. We get to set whatever our goals are. It doesn't matter. But just like, it's just a reminder to keep moving. And I was like, sure. So I did well the whole week. Sure, Saturday comes. My husband's traveling. I just write the group. I was like, guys, I'm not going to do it today, but I'll do it tomorrow. And my friend's husband calls me and he's like, you can't do that. You are 5 days in. It is a
Yep.
challenge for a reason. And it literally, like, I don't know, there was something in this conversation. We go on to later talk about this, is like before this must have been in November, because I was like, hey, like, what do you think about this Omicron thing? Like, is this going to be an
Mm-hmm.
issue? And he said something that's like etched in me. He's like, well, whether or not it's going to be an issue is one thing, but like, this is an area where we can take control of our health. And I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, like, I think that there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of power in knowing that can talk about this forever, and I'll shut up, Marlie,
Right.
because you're the expert here. But like exercise reduces inflammation in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise helps your immune system. It helps you fight
Mm-hmm.
infection. Like exercise actually should be less about losing weight and more about like overall health in your body. And I don't think that like that part of exercise doesn't have a good PR person.
It doesn't. And there's so many things you said there that I want to touch on. The first is when you said you used to tie exercise to, being in a caloric deficit and tying it to just general weight loss. And I had a similar experience to you where I really didn't think of I really changed my mindset towards food and exercise and it was always tied to food, similar to you. Like I was eating well and working out. If I wasn't doing one, I wasn't doing the other. And I think that's really
Mm-hmm.
common, that all
Mm-hmm.
or nothing mindset. And it was when I got pregnant with Lily that I wasn't able to stomach anything but bagels and cheese, as one does.
Yeah.
But I was still working out because it was good for my mind and it made me feel better physically. And just overall, it helped with my mental health. And that's where I was really able to piece together like, you don't need to work out only on the days that you're eating healthy. You don't need to work out to lose weight,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
was pregnant. That was not the goal then. So it was once I became pregnant with Lily that I was really able to make that connection and say, oh my gosh, this is helping me feel better. I'm moving better. It's helping my aches and pains. Oh my gosh, this is helping my mental clarity. And I'm just feeling more positive.
Mm-hmm.
So I 100% agree with you on that. And then I do want to point out also your friend's husband texting you, because that's also such a big component of balance forward is the accountability. Because I hear
Mm-hmm.
all the time from moms like, I just want to move. I just want to work out, but like I can't stay consistent and I fall off the track and that's it. And that's one thing that I really love about our members is we have bi-weekly live group chats where we come on, we share what we need support with, what we need, what goals we want each other to hold each other accountable to. And I think that accountability piece, and if anything in life, business,
Yep.
personal relationships, working out, like it's so, so important. I love
Yep.
that you're in this little that challenge because just having
I
that
still am.
accountability, it's amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it also
Mm-hmm.
helps you even in the early stages. So, like during the like I'm a pretty fit person. I don't think that there's been honestly a long stretch. I mean, pre-pandemic. I want to say post the birth of Nora to the pandemic. I don't think I took vacation weeks off for sure, but I have a
Mm-hmm.
very consistent workout routine. And then the pandemic hit, and then like your brain changes because
Yep.
everything like you're in fight or flight. And I did lose, like I wasn't doing what I could be. I was doing the bare minimum. um I do think in those both times when after I had Nora and after the pandemic, what that accountability did is it helped me build the habit. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's actually like working out is as common for me as eating food and drinking water. And when I don't do
Mm-hmm.
it, I feel it. And like I feel it in my mental health. I just like also like the way my body feels and moves and
Mm-hmm.
works. And you know what I'm the most happy and proud of mostly is, and this isn't really talked about enough, is functional strength, is
Yep.
like lifting shit when your husband is gone. And
Yep.
like it has to you there I mean my husband travels so much that there's a level of like I need to be able to do things when he's gone, and I can lift things, I can lift my kids. It's like I can have this everyday um benefit from that for
It's so
sure.
empowering. And I
Hmm.
love strength training for that reason. I think it also
Yeah.
gets a bad rep tied to diet culture with women being afraid to bulk up, which again is its own podcast on its own. But I think
Yeah.
that I think that it is so empowering lifting weights and then seeing how that plays out into your everyday life.
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
I think that, yeah, like the weight part for me was a huge kind of, it was a mind shift. Whereas, like, I
Hmm.
want to be lean, and it's like just lift the weights and be strong. Also, it takes a lot of
And you
work.
will get lean from lifting weights. That's the funny part.
Exactly,
That's actually
and
what will happen.
to bulk up like a bodybuilder and what we think of as a bodybuilder like takes a lot of like concerted
It's a
effort.
full-time job
Yeah. Like
for
I
women.
wish it was
It's
that
a full-time job.
easy. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, I love that so much. And I think I was thinking when you were talking about the accountability part of Bounce Forward is having been a member for the last little while, I'm actually like, I keep meaning to be like, hey, I need to tell Marley that this is such a like incredibly valuable product. Like you offer so many things. Like, guys, listen to this. I invited Marley to John Mayer, second row, like just come with me, just hang out. And she's like, I can't. I'm teaching a master class. I can't. And I'm just like, ugh. But you do master classes for your members.
Yeah,
You
so
do, well,
Amanda was right.
tell me
Yeah,
all the
okay.
things.
So in addition to live workouts and live group chats, we also have a group calls, coaching calls. We have one-on-one group coaching calls with me. We have an on-demand workout library where you can choose whatever workout you want to choose at any time, any day. Then we have master classes from experts. So Amanda was our master class expert on baby sleep, and we did a class all about how to get your baby to nap so you can get your workout in. We have a safely return to exercise masterclass with a pre and postnatal chiropractic doctor, where we have a checklist, a self checklist and self assessment to see, are you really ready to return to exercise? This past week, we had one on mindfulness from a medical doctor. We had a family doctor on who taught us really the benefits of meditation and how she practices meditation as a mom of two. So every month there's an expert in another field coming in and talking to us. And what am I missing? I think, yeah,
Well,
I
I
think that's
actually, that's
it.
something else I wanted to say because
Hmm.
part of my postpartum exercise journey was realizing that right away you can't do all the things that you used to
Yeah.
do. And I
Hmm.
actually have like a friend of a friend who got pregnant and was doing all these like boot camps, like
Yep.
hardcore boot camps. I know that not all boot camps are boot camps, but this was. And like she's pushing tires and she's doing all these crunches and blah, blah, blah. So it turns out post pregnancy, she actually has a significant separation in her
Hmm.
abs. And she was surprised to learn, like, oh, I actually shouldn't have been doing all the things I was doing during pregnancy or right after. And I think that's
Hmm.
actually surprising. Like, I think I only knew
Yeah.
about that because of my friend that, oh, I should be thoughtful about the types of exercises I'm doing, or people
Yeah.
should
You
be
always want
based
to
on
be
their condition.
right. Exactly. You always want to be careful. I mean, the general rule is that for the most part, you can continue to do most things you were doing
Hmm.
pre-pregnancy, but with significant modifications once you have the belly, right? So traditional ab work you don't want to do. There's so much, I mean, we can talk about this forever. There's so many things you want to avoid, but really it's the returning to exercise where I think that people get caught up. They get caught
Hmm.
up in wanting to bounce back and
Hmm.
don't listen to their bodies or are not even sure what am I feeling? What should I be
Yeah.
feeling? What should I not be feeling? And there's a lot of pelvic dysfunction that occurs. And luckily, in this day and age, there's so much help and there's so much more education,
Yeah.
awareness,
Yeah.
and availability to see pelvic floor and pelvic health physiotherapists online or in person. So
Hmm.
I'm glad to see that, especially in social media, there's a lot more education around that. But there is a lot of people that just don't know. And I'm always giving modifications in my workouts and saying, if you don't know, take the low impact version. That's my rule
Yep.
of thumb with Bounce Forward.
Yep.
If you're not sure, please go low impact because
Yeah.
I'm only now at 13 months postpartum. going more into the jumping and the traditional ab work. For 13 months, I really wasn't, because I could
Hmm.
feel, this
Hmm.
doesn't quite feel right in the pelvic region, or I don't love how much separation I have currently. And
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
separation is normal for everyone,
Yep.
but the more careful we are and the more that we move with integrity, the more our muscles will, return, into where they're supposed to be for the most
Yep.
part. Yeah.
I love all of that. And we actually, in a few weeks ago, we had Aaliyah Dalla from Box Wellness on the podcast
Hmm.
talking a little bit about that. And I chuckle because you say, like, in this day and age, even, when I had my kids all 8 years ago, I remember hearing about pelvic floor physio and being like, tee, that's so crazy. What is
Hmm.
that? Now it's, I
Right.
think,
Exactly.
becoming very common. Thank goodness.
Yes.
Marlie, we are coming to like a proper crap nap. We're coming up to
Oh, shit.
25 minutes of our, that's okay. You're a woman of the world. Cell phones ring. Um, so where can people find out more about you and Bounce Forward?
Sure. So for Bounce Forward, you can go to bounceforwardco.com. That has all the information about the membership. We offer a monthly and an annual membership. We do have an Instagram account also, Bounce Forward Co, with lots of just more info going on there, lots of workout videos and previews of what the workouts look like. For me personally, I'm at Kale and Crunches, KALE_AND_KRUNCHES, where I share my daily life, behind the scenes of everything from Bounce Forward to life with my girls. And yeah, that's where you
And
can
your
go
kids
there.
are really cute. So, like, even if you just
Thank
watch the
you.
sound off, like, it's visually appealing.
I think there's quite a few people that are just there for Sky and Lily. I'm not going to lie. And I don't take offense to
No, they're so
it.
cute. And Lily, just, having watched her over the last like 2.5 years, she's just
You've
such a
really seen
little
her grow up.
person.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Well, thank you for coming on. As always, everyone, if
Thank
you
you for
need baby
having
sleep
me.
help, call me, babysbestsleep.com, at babysbestsleep on Instagram. Follow the entire team. You can find their profiles on my profile, find the blog, listen to all the podcasts. We have an episode literally about everything. And if we don't, send me an email and I'll have you on, because I like to have an episode on everything, because we get DMs and I can just be like, go to this episode. Anyway, have a good one, everyone. Bye.